get on with the show. Once I know that, yes, you guys can see me. I am live. How are you guys doing? I'm Mac. You guys are here. Thank you for joining me. Today is the first of a new series on Adam McKola TV. It's going to be called something like The Aftermath or When the Dust Settles or something like that. And it's basically going to be me and you having a debate, having a chat once the dust has settled, a day after the Manchester United game. Because usually during a United game, when I'm there at the game, I'm doing stuff for Full-Time Devils. I can do a match review, but when I get home, I can't be asked to really do anything else. I'm so tired by then after a journey and whatnot. So I figured a day after, we'll do these live shows when I can. We'll start doing these live shows and we'll discuss the game that has gone. And now yesterday, it was Manchester United 1, Liverpool 1 at Old Trafford. A game that I'm sure all of us thought we were going to win. All of us Manchester United fans anyway, thought that we were going to win. And that's why I think I was so disappointed after the game. Because we'd gone into that game with so much confidence, with so much belief that Manchester United were going to win. And we just didn't. We didn't perform. We didn't turn up. It may have been one of those days. And it was great that we did get a result in the end. Thanks to that goal from Zlatan Ibrahimovic. But it was so disappointing on a whole that we didn't turn up. And that's why I felt so disappointed yesterday. If you watch Full-Time Devils, if you watch my review after the game, if you watch the fan cams, I was so disappointed. But I'm over it now. And in hindsight, having looked back at the game, given the way the game went, to get a point out of it was fair enough. I don't think either team did enough to have won the game anyway. So guys, I'm going to get into some of the comments now before we move on. What we're going to discuss today, is obviously the league. Is it over for Manchester United? Is the league over for Manchester United in terms of the title race, top 4 race? We're going to discuss Paul Pogba's performances, Zlatan Ibrahimovic getting 19 goals, Jones' mistake. Is that a worry? Really disappointed with the result because that's part of the expectation. Does it show resilience though to still get that result? We'll talk about Klopp against Jose. Whatever you guys want to talk about, we will discuss today on the Aftermath show. So thank you for joining me. I'm going to hit up some of your comments now. We weren't quick or aggressive enough, says Gungshi. Klopp crying over long balls. Lyle says someone's out. Sorry, the comment moved really quick. Pogba struggled yesterday, especially at corners with marking his man, says John. We should have passed the ball to Martial more, says Mr. Wheezy. I agree with that as well. I think Craig said it in his fan cam. We just didn't get Martial on the ball enough. When he did get on the ball, he was looking threatening. He was looking promising. He didn't get onto the ball enough. Hey, Manchester United TV are in the comments. The top position is gone, but we may sneak second or third place. Is Anthony? I do feel that is still a possibility as well. Klopp is a whiny little bitch. Says Talep. What you say about Pogba? He was pretty bad lately. I don't think lately he's been pretty bad because that would suggest he'd been bad for more than one game. I think that was his worst performance in a Manchester United shirt. The penalty, obviously. What is going on with that technique on the header? Why are your hands by your face when you're going like that? And why is your head moving towards the ball after your hands? It didn't make any sense and it was kind of a weird one, but it could have been part of the frustration. Paul Pogba has played in Italy where it's a lot slower. He's played in the Premier League now where it's a lot quicker and he's adapted over the games that have gone by. But Jurgen Klopp's tactics would have been very, very different to a lot of things that he's come up against. And maybe once Michael Carrick got hounded out of the game and he didn't have that support of Michael Carrick, I said Ander Herrera had a poor game. I don't think he had a poor game. I just don't think United played as well and he played as well as he usually does. He was one of our better players, but Carrick and Pogba were hounded out and it just didn't do enough. Pogba was bad yesterday, but if you're concerned about his ability, then I feel for your IQ, says Nani on a good day. I agree with that. Devang, I am good, thank you. How are you? Top 2 is clearly still on for us, says Daniel Bruce. We've got over 100 people here in the live now as well. Thank you for all joining me. As I said, this is the Aftermath show. We're going to discuss all about Manchester United 1, Liverpool 1 yesterday. And now we're going to go on to the title race. So Manchester United, I'm just looking to the right or your left because I'm looking at my notes. But Manchester United are now 2 points behind Manchester City, 4 points behind Arsenal, 5 behind Spurs and Liverpool, and 12 behind Chelsea. So is the title race now over? For me, yes, if we had won yesterday, there would have still been a sneak. There would have still been that hope that we could fight for something. And that's part of the big disappointment as well. But I do think it is now gone. But when you look at the rest, 2 points behind City, who seem to be crumbling, suffered a heavy defeat at the hands of Everton. 4 points behind Arsenal, who I'm sure we can catch. They've got 2 comfortable-ish games coming up, but then they've got a difficult game with Chelsea. We've got Spurs and Liverpool, 5 points off us. Spurs looking very good. Liverpool suffered in form recently, but very good tactical performance at Old Trafford to get the points. So, you know, I'm still confident, as some of you guys have said in the comments as well, that we can get second or third still. First is probably gone, but we probably could finish as high as second, says Trayton. And I do agree with that. Who do you think will win the league, says Jack Merreby. You can't look past Chelsea at the moment. If Chelsea don't win it, I still think we've got a chance, but you can't look past Chelsea at the moment. Chelsea, 12 points clear. The draw that we had with Liverpool meant they went 2 points further clear of both of us. Spurs kept up with them, yes. Arsenal won their game. I don't think Arsenal are going to win the league. Spurs, yes, I think they're fantastic at the moment, but have they got that winning mentality, that grit, and that know-all to get over the line in a title race? I'm not too sure about that one. But with Chelsea and Diego Costa's situation, that could all go tits up for them in the title race. Hi Mia, how are you doing? Will the Europa League mess us up, says Manraj. That is a good question, because you've got to think this good form has coincided without Europa League football. Yes, during this good run, we have had one game, but it was against Zuria. If you remember Mkhitaryan's fantastic goal in that game. But since the defeat to Fenerbahce on November the 3rd, we haven't lost a game. I think it's like 13, 14 games unbeaten. That is a fantastic run for Manchester United, but has that come because of no Europa League football? That is a very, very good question. And could it all go tits up again when we have Saint Etienne? One good thing about that Saint Etienne fixture, I think one of the games are going to be played on a Wednesday, so it's kind of like being in the Champions League, innit? Except it's not, it's still the Europa League. But as Alistair was saying in his fan cam for Full-Time Devils, I think we should respect the Europa League a little bit more. I've been guilty of not respecting it enough as well. And I think while we're now in the knockout stages, you're going to want to win it, aren't you? Give a shout out, Jamaican fans watching. Hi guys, all of you in Jamaica. I don't know how many of you are in Jamaica, but hi guys, hope you're all well. Thank you for watching. Wherever you're watching, I've seen quite a few different comments coming through of you guys in various places. So thank you all for watching. Whether you're in Manchester, Mumbai, wherever you're at, thank you for getting involved. All 115 of you. If you can, share this video with your mum, your dad, and all your friends as well. Get people subscribing to the channel. I've had the channel for a while. I've only started consistently putting content out on it. I'm going to try to take it a little bit further as well. I did some different stuff last year. Silverstone vlog, Wimbledon vlog, Super League vlog, other things like that. I'm going to Klitschko and Joshua. I got tickets for that today. I'm going to that in April, so I'll probably do a vlog for some boxing as well. I'm going to try and get some more interviews sorted. So make sure you subscribe to the McKola TV, just not for football stuff. We'll have a lot more stuff for you. But of course, we'll always have the football content here, and we'll keep it coming if you keep it locked. Taiwan here, 1:40 a.m. Gungshi. Thank you for getting involved. Hi, Brad. How are you doing? What sort of player do you think United are lacking? What sort of player are Manchester United lacking? I think we missed Luke Shaw massively, and we would have liked Luke Shaw being at left back yesterday. I think Martial suffered. He didn't have much of a support from Darmian. Now Darmian, bless him, he's not a bad player, but I don't think he's great attacking wise. He doesn't get forward the greatest. His final ball isn't the greatest either. And it's a shame that we didn't have Luke Shaw flying down that line with Martial, because it would have been nice. Do you think Zlatan going to get golden boot, says Jovan? Zlatan could very well get golden boot with what's going on with Diego Costa at the moment. Sergio Aguero, his injury record. Zlatan Ibrahimovic keeps on scoring. 19 for Manchester United now. 14, I think it is, in the league. He's not far off the top spot. He's doing fantastically well. So, yeah, he could get that. I would love him to get that, but I would love United to get top spot. Instead, if you're Gujarati, how is your second name? McKola, says Vedant. McKola comes from my mother's and my father's surname, so McElroy and Kola mashed up in one. South Africa are in the house. Hi Tessel, how you doing? Who should we sign, if anyone? I don't think we should really sign anyone in this transfer window. I'm happy with the squad. Why didn't Rashford get involved yesterday, says Memraj? Very good question. I think Martial starting was the right decision. And then when the substitutes came on, yes, when Fellaini come on, I was thinking, why didn't we bring on Rashford instead? But you can't argue with the way Marouane Fellaini did change the game. Needed scored the goal, and it set up the eventually the Zlatan Ibrahimovic goal as his header went out to Valencia, who whipped it in for Zlatan. What a header that was, by the way. Scooping low to like get the power into it and get it over the keeper. Fantastic header by Zlatan Ibrahimovic. And I feel if that goal came on 80th minute rather than the 85th, I think it was, then United would have probably won that game. But it was still probably a fair result given the whole 90 minutes. What else can we talk about? So we spoke. Are we out of the race? I think it's safe to say we are out of the race, isn't it? Manchester United aren't in the race for the title anymore, and we are still in the race for top four. And if Chelsea did have a crumble of all crumbles, then maybe, just maybe. But I think that result kind of puts the final nail in the coffin. Might I get a fan cam in at the whole game? Feel free to come down and have a word with us. We'll be on Samat Busby Way after the match. Valencia is the best player for Man United this season. He has been one of the best, hasn't he? He has been fantastic for us. I was in the car with my old man and my brother yesterday on the way to the game, and me and my brother kept talking about Pogba and Zlatan and all that, and my dad kept reiterating Valencia's been quality, and Valencia's been quality, and he has been fantastic. A lot of his crosses don't meet their men, which is a bit frustrating, but he's been fantastic getting down the wing. Do you like United playing long balls, says Jack? I think it came as a plan B. I think a lot has been said about Manchester United and long balls and Jurgen Klopp and all that, when if you look at the stats, Liverpool had a higher percentage of their passes which were long balls, 20% compared to United's 19%. I think when you look at the table for long balls, Liverpool have played more long balls this season than Manchester United. So Jurgen Klopp coming out saying that seems to be a little bit bitter to me. I felt United's football was poor yesterday, but I don't think we used the long balls constantly throughout the game. I think when Fellaini came on, yes, that's how we went. We went plan B, we went long ball. And it's good to see us do that because it's nice to have a plan B, isn't it? And I think that's the way we need to utilise Marouane Fellaini in that role further up the pitch. That's the best option for him. He nearly got the goal, set up the goal. So Jose Mourinho's plan B effective. And Jurgen Klopp, I think, is a little bit of sour grapes, to be fair. They were defending for most of the game. Did I have a clear view of the penalty instance this time? I did, yeah, and I knew it was a penalty straight away. There was no doubting that was a penalty. It was similar to the one Crystal Palace that we should have had when it was a handball, and it was identical to that, and that was a handball. That should have been, it wasn't given. This one was. The referee got it right. Lennon says Klopp can fuck himself. Fair enough. Good comment. Well made. Matt should have come on for Pogba, says Nahush. He was having a bad game, wasn't he? But I think to take him off, I think would have been a little bit unfair. I don't think the whole United team did well. Iman, thank you for getting in the comments. The game was lacking a lot of quality, says Fernando. I think, yeah. Could it have been the accumulation of so many games for Manchester United just coming to a halt? Could it have been the expectation on the players? Do you think the players, like some of the fans, like myself, turned up expecting to win? Maybe, just maybe, that was the case because it did play out like that, didn't it? It did play out like that. It was so frustrating in the end because they were there for the taking. Liverpool were. Their defence was not poor because they played well, but their defence was makeshift, and they had a very young lad in there that only played 1 minute of Premier League football. I thought their midfield worked fantastically well. Can, Lallana and Henderson in stopping Pogba and Co, and Carrick, Lovren coming from the defence to do that as well. So I think their tactics were excellent, but poor overall, man. United were. We should have been a lot better, and I felt if we played anywhere near the way we have been playing in recent weeks, we would have won that game comfortably. Unfortunately, we didn't. Harry says Herrera's shirt pull. I absolutely loved that. Absolutely loved it. Well done. Herrera is a nasty bastard, but I love it, says Jordan. Took the words right out of my mouth. There's nothing wrong with having a little bastard in your team because you're going to need one at the end of the day. Rashford's not going to Aston Villa, is he? Who's starting this nonsense? Is it my cousin John in the comments? Rashford ain't going to Aston Villa. Where has this come from? What are your views on Depay? Because I feel like he wants to stay. I feel like he's issued his last call to Stanford United. Yeah, I feel like I feel, I discussed this in one of the last videos I did. I feel with Memphis Depay, he needs to just stick it out for 6 months. Look, in June, the same teams that are in for him now are still going to be in for him. That's not going to deter them. In 6 months, he could potentially save his Manchester United career. You never know what could happen. We could have a few injuries. He could get elevated up the pecking order and start a few games and have a good run. You never know what could happen. I don't think he should leave Manchester United, but he probably will to get football. And you can't blame him because, like Morgan Schneiderlin, he needs to play. But if I was him, I'd just stick it out for 6 months. You're going to be paid, fine. It's not like you're on shit wages. And there's a potential you could save your Man United career, so you may as well do it, in my opinion. Jack got an offer from the Uni of Salford. Well done, mate. The title was a long shot. There are a lot of positives to take. We're really hard to beat, and we've scored quite a few after 80 minutes, says Arvind. Yep, I think that's one of the positives that come out from yesterday, is that despite the fact we were losing and despite the fact we played poorly, we managed to get a goal late on. We've got fantastic team spirit and mentality at the moment that Jose's brought back with him. The MUFC fan says, and someone else asked this earlier as well, can Zlatan get the golden boot? Of course he can. And with Costa trying to engineer a move to China, whether he goes or not, it will affect him in Chelsea. And Zlatan is going to be one of the favourites to overtake him if that happens and Costa doesn't play much. So, yeah. But as I said then, and I'll say it again, hashtag say it again, I'd rather us win the league. We actually needed to lose a game recently just so it could shake up the mentality of the players. This is exactly what happened to Liverpool, hence why they were so up for it this weekend. We didn't lose, Tesso. I know it feels like a defeat, but we didn't lose, which is great. But I get what you're saying. I think second place, Europa League and FA Cup and Ibra Golden Boot is a decent season. Rohan, if I could have that, I'd take that off your hands right now. But we are halfway to a final in the League Cup, so if you get to a final in that, you're going to want to win it, aren't you? And with Southampton, or I think it'll probably be Liverpool, given the first leg and the way they got off with it. I think if Liverpool, it'll be a difficult game, but we've learnt a lot in that fixture yesterday to how they could potentially play against us, so we could obviously counter that now, and we would have learnt something from that, so maybe next time we'll do it. Just carry on sticking out because you're a good guy. Favourite pundit on no one like Stephen House, says him on. Stephen House, it ain't all bad, is he? Come on, man. He's alright. But thank you for watching, mate, and thank you for getting involved with Full Time Devils and my channel, of course, who has the most chance of missing CL next season. I think United, of course, we're not in the top four at the moment, so we can't take it for granted. And I think Arsenal and Man City, Liverpool as well. I think Chelsea and Spurs will be okay and they'll get top four. And I think the other two will come out of those four teams. So yeah, what do you guys think to that? Chelsea and Spurs guaranteed top four, the rest to come from the other. I think we'll get top four though. So I'd say Chelsea, Spurs, United, and Liverpool. Imagine City and Arsenal miss out in the top four. That would probably be perfect. Probably be absolutely perfect, that would. In fact, that not probably perfect, that is perfect. Where is Ian? Adam, says Nicole. He was on FTD recently, but I think he's been busy with his comedy work. I was about to say comedian work? Comedy work. He's a comedian as well, you know. We don't just talk football. So he's probably been doing stuff with that. I know he has one of his own podcasts as well. I think with Jimmy Bullard or someone like that. Is it? I think so. Check it out. Top four and a few trophies is great, says Zach. Luke Shaw is like Royce or Sturridge, says Din. I don't know what you mean by that. Do you mean injury-wise? Rashford and Memphis. John, get out. And then win the league next season. I think we'll definitely be within a shout next season of winning the league. I think that one's a definite. We need to go on and do it. Let's see what I've got here. Oh yeah, by the way, guys, while I've got you here, subscribe to United Road Podcast on SoundCloud and iTunes. I did a live stream last Thursday. It didn't go great because I forgot my tripod at home. But I'm linking up with the boys on Thursday. That's both Scribs from Filthy Fellas and, of course, Margs. We're linking up on Thursday to do another podcast, so I'll get another live video in. I'll schedule it on here. It's going to be a late one because we've booked a late studio session. But if you guys fancy joining us, then join us then. I'll schedule the video maybe on Wednesday, so check it out. hit the notification so you get all the notifications when we go live and all that, and you'll be fully involved. When's the next United Roll podcast, says Jordan? Recorded Thursday night, up by Friday morning is what will happen. Could we win the Europa this time? Abhishek says, of course we could win the Europa League, but the only problem is the Europa League's a cup competition and anything can happen. But with Jose Mourinho, we know that we've got a manager that's tactically aware and can change the game in different ways to win matches, if you know what I mean. So I think in Jose Mourinho, we have a manager that can help us do that. Right, what we're going to do next is go through the players and decide on a player rating for yesterday. So if you're with me, I want you to get your comments in. We'll go through a player at the time and we'll try and agree on some player ratings. So David De Gea is the first one. So out of 10, what should David De Gea be rated for his performance yesterday? David De Gea. So remember, he made that save from Firmino, made a couple of other saves. United were the most dominant team, but he did have a few saves to make and he saved them well. I'd give David De Gea a 7. What do you guys think about that? Dave saves out of 10. What's his player rating? Let me see. Get him in. Get him in the comments below. 7 MUFC fans. Lennon 7. Manraj 7. Manas 7. Daniel 7. Zlatan 7. Trayton 8. Pierre 7. Victor 8. GameTube 9. Zach MU 9. Anuj 6. Keen 8. Manraj 6 out of 5. 7. 69 8. 6 out of 5. 7 7. I think it's safe to say I was spot on. I know there's a few 8s in there and a few 69s, but I think the average of what has been coming through is a 7 for David De Gea. So we'll give Dave a 7 out of 10. Next, we're moving on to the defence. So, right back. Antonio Valencia set up the goal. He set up the goal, which was a decent header by Zlatan Ibrahimovic. How much does Antonio Valencia get for you? For me, Antonio Valencia gets a 7.5. What do you guys think? 7.5 for Antonio Valencia. Anything higher or lower? Get your comments below. And let me know as well what player it is that you're giving the rating for. Because I'm just seeing a shitload of numbers at the moment. So we're on Antonio Valencia. So what are you giving him? I'm giving him a 7.5. A 7.5 for Antonio Valencia. 8, 7, 8, 7.5. We've got loads of different comments coming through now. 7, 8, 8, 8.5, 8, 10, 8, 7.5, 8, 8. Ooh. All right. I've been convinced to give Valencia an 8. Let me grab a pen, one sec. So, we agreed on David De Gea 7, Valencia 8, I think is the thing at the moment, yeah? So David De Gea 7, Valencia 8. Agreed. That's it. Valencia's done now. Last call's done. Tonio Valencia, last call's done. 8 out of 10 for Tonio Valencia. I think I agree with that. I would have given him a 7.5, but you guys convinced me to go higher. I feel like Bruce Forsyth here. We've got Rojo next. Now Rojo is going to get... See, I'd give him a 7.5, but I'm convinced you lot are going to give him a higher. So I'm going 7.5. Marcus Rojo. Marcus Rojo, Marcus Rojo, Marcus Rojo. Come on. Get your comments in. Marcus Rojo. What's your rating for Marcus Rojo? Anthony, 8 point... Fuck off, John. Fuck's sake. Right. Rojo is getting a 7.5 out of 10. I think Rojo gets. I think that's fair to say. Zach says 7.5. Zach agrees. 8 says Lennon. 7.77. Loads of 7s and 8s here. The Destroyer 8, 8. There's a few 8s coming in, which is swinging me, but there's a few 7s as well. 7.5, 8, 7, 6.5, 7, 7, 9. Ooh. Right, shall I put him as an 8 or a 7.5? 8 or a 7.5 for Rojo? This is what we're on right now. I'm going to give him a 7.5. If you're complaining, go fuck yourself. Right. Jonesy. I think Jones gets less than Rojo because he made the mistake which led to the corner, which led to the goal. So I'd give Jones, because I thought he was good apart from that, I'd give Jones a 7. 7. What do you think about a Jones a 7? Yes, no, 7.5. You can't give Jones the same as Rojo. Because Rojo, nah. Jones made the mistake. 8. All of you lot are saying 8. Evan, 6. What the hell are you on about, Raf? Come on, man. 6.5. There we go. Some more sensical things. 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. It's like the devil's in the house. But we're going to go with 7. Usually I've maybe bring Jones's rating down to a 6.5, you know. Right. So we got David De Gea 7, Valencia 8, Rojo 7.5, Jones 6.5. At the moment we got Tony Valencia as our man of the match. Darmian is up next. Darmian, I'm thinking Darmian gets a 6 from me, you know. I don't think he was great. I don't think he was great at all. Darmian. Matteo. Can you like put the names with the rating? Come on, guys, man. Play the game. Play the game. Sylvestre 6.5. Oh, he had a big head. Remember him? 10 to Adam McKola, says Devang. I'm happy with that. Alan Smith back to United for any manager of Notts County, you're saying. Jones was decent apart from the mistake. We moved on from Jones now. 6 for Darmian. 6.5. 5 for Darmian. 7 for Darmian. 6. 6.5, 6, 6, 6.4, 4, 6.5, 6, 5, 6, 5, 4. Ooh. 4, 4, 4, 5. Fucking hell. Darmian's rating's getting dragged here down to a... Oh, shit. Darmian's rating's getting dragged to a 5 out of 10. Because we had a lot of 6s at the start, then we had a lot of 4s, then we had some 5s, 6.5s. So, Darmian, 5. At the moment, the back 4 is as follows. Darmian with a 5 out of 10. Jones with a 6.5 out of 10. Rojo with a 7.5 out of 10. Valencia with an 8 out of 10. And David De Gea with a 7. So Valencia is our man of the match. So far, Beckham gets a 10 out of 10 just for turning up to the game. What a beautiful man David Beckham is. And I'm absolutely gutted because he took a picture on the forecourt at Old Trafford, right where I recorded my review. So if you check his Instagram, David Beckham, see his picture he's taken there. Check where I recorded my review. So that means within the same 15, 20 minutes, me and Beckham were on the forecourt and I didn't even know it. That is absolutely heartbreaking. Right, we're moving on from the defence. And David De Gea 7, Valencia 8, Rojo 7.5, Jones 6.5, Darmian 5 out of 10. For you guys that are just joining us, basically what we're doing is we're having a vote in the comments for the player ratings. We've already decided upon David De Gea 7, Valencia 8, Rojo 7.5, Jones 6.5 and Darmian 5. And now we're moving on to the midfield. We're going to go with Michael Carrick first. He was substituted at half-time. Had a bad game, probably his worst game of the season so far. I'm going to give a Michael Carrick a 4.5. I can't give Carrick a 4. I fucking love him. Lennon says 2. Carrick, 5. Can I give him a 5, guys? Can I give a 5, guys? Not that he needs a burger, but can I give Michael Carrick a 5? Because I feel absolutely disgraceful giving him a 4. I can't give him a 4. I just can't give him a 4. Can't happen. Come on. Carrick 6.5 said Pierre, so he's dragged it up at the moment. Adam, can you do Skype calls with fans and their views? I can maybe do that soon, but at the moment, I don't know what the fuck I am doing. Carrick 5, 6.5, 4, 6, 5, 6, 5, 6.0, substitute at half-time, 4, 5, 5, 6, 5, 6, 5. Ooh! Yeah, I think I can give him a 5. I don't think he deserves a 6.5. You can't come off at half-time as a substitute when you're not injured and get a 6.5. That just isn't on. He gets a 5. I think that's fair to say we can all agree on that. You wouldn't argue, would you? I know some of you gave him a 6.5, but if I gave him a 5 out of 10, would you tell me no? Because it's happening. Michael Carrick gets a 5. Next up, Paul Labille Pogba. Paul Labille Pogba, what does he get? I think, again for Pogba, a 5. 5 for Pogba. 5, 5, 5, 5. John says 5. Sedan says 5. Jay says 5. Pogba 4. Says Doctor Strange. Sedan says 5. Pierre says yes, so he's agreeing to my 5. Jackson 6. I don't think he was that good. GSHD says 3. Doctor Strange says 4. Come on. Pogba 4. Pogba 5 says MUFC fans. Pierre said 4. 4.5 says Christian. 5.5 says Iman. 4.7 says Tom. 3 says GSD. Pereira says 4. 2 says Colin. Fucking hell, use like a slaughtering him here. 2 out of 10 says Ishmael. I think use like with the low scores. I've absolutely dragged Pogba's score down to a 4.5, you know. 4.5 for Pogba. He gets a worse rating than Michael Carrick. Was that because he gave the penalty away? Was that because of his general performance? Why did you give Paul Pogba a 4.5, generally speaking, with all the ratings coming through? We had some 6s, very little 6s. We had a few 5s, mainly 4s, but there was a few 5s in there as well. So I've given him a 4.5. Was it because of the penalty or his overall performance? Get some of your comments in below. Why did you rate Pogba so low in that? Was it a worry that his performance came? Or can we expect it? Are you disappointed that an £89 million signing put in that performance in such a big game? Or as a 23-year-old man, are you thinking, look, he's 23, that can happen, on to the next one? John says 4, GS says he didn't perform at all. The general performance, says Chris. Edge of Sanity says both. Hair sucked, says Michael. Generally shit, says Crazed Monkey. General was sloppy, says Raf. 4.5 is still too high, says Anthony. Yes to the handball, says Brad. Overall performance, he was too slow, says Shivam. I think that's a fair point. He was hounded out by the Liverpool midfield, and we'll give him a 4.5. Jason says because he was shit. Pogba, worst game ever, says J Bad. Din says 5. Hare says Colby. Pogba tried too hard, 2.5. Are we agreed on a 4.5 or should it be a 4? So now we're voting on a 4 and a 4.5. Think you lot have dragged it down a little bit here. Awful performance, didn't even turn up on a day. Pogba was bad, says Alex. He was all over the place. The game got to him, says United we are. 5 out of 10, says Alex. He was shite. Right, we're going to stick with a 4.5, and now we're going to move on to Ander Herrera, who I think was the best of our midfield. I loved his little bit of bastardry with Robert Firmino pulling him back as he ran away. And we did then drop, which was a little bit embarrassing after he got a little push. But, you know, all that shit happens in football. Ander Herrera, I'm going to give Ander a 6.5. Are you guys going to let me stick with that? Are you going to let me stick with a 6.5 for Ander Herrera? Let me know in the comments below. At the moment, Valencia is our man of the match. At the moment. So, make of that what you will. Are you happy with that? Valencia's got an 8, which is making him man of the match at the moment. 5.5. Ben says 7. Raf says 7. Howard Apollo says 9. Preen says 7. Herrera 6 says Shivam. And at 8 says Ricky. Alberto 6.5. Sound okay, says Doctor Strange. No 5.5 says Ezra Sanity. 7 says Hope. Herrera was brilliant. 8.5. There's been a lot more saying 7 to 8 for Herrera, so that may drag his rating up to 7. 40 covered well for Carrick. 7 says Abdullah. Subscribe to his channel AGTV. Was in my review yesterday as well. The link is in the description below. His passes were off though, says Stop the Strange. That's very true. 10 for the shirt, pulling 6 for his performance, says John. Ander Herrera 7.5. I think this is going to drag his rating up to a 7, you know, at the moment. I'm going to drag Ander's rating up to 7. 7 at the moment. Anything better than a 7 or worse than a 7, let me know in the comments below. Ander Herrera's match rating. At the moment, we've got David De Gea, who is on a 7. Valencia's on an 8. Rojo on a 7.5. Jones on a 6.5. Darmian on a 5. Carrick on a 5. Pogba on a 4.5. Then we've got Herrera on a 7 at the moment. But will you guys make me change my mind on that one? Get it in the comments below. Is Ander Herrera your man of the match? What was your rating? 7.5 says Zidane. So I think I'm fair to be putting that on a 7 at the moment. A lot of big 7s coming up for Ander Herrera. So fair dues on that one. And we'll go with Ander Herrera. Number 7 out of 10. So at the moment, Valencia is man of the match with an 8. We've still got to go through our front line. Rojo, 7.5. And Ander Herrera behind him on a 7. The worst performers we've got Carrick, 5. 4.5 for Pogba and a 5 for Matteo Darmian as well. What do you guys think about that? Get it in the comments below. I'm going to just have a little sip of my water and then we're going to go on to the front players. So thank you for joining us so far. So as you can see, I've got the tendency to nick pint glasses. Shame there's no beer in it, but that will do. Rojo, 8.5, covered for some mistakes from Jones. Listen, Abdullah, you can't come in here now and start shouting off your ratings. We've already decided those players. We've already decided on De Gea, 7. Valencia, 8. Rojo, 7.5. Jones, 6.5. Darmian, 5. Carrick, 5. Pogba, 4.5. And Herrera, 7. So don't start coming in here. Yeah? And saying all this shit about this, that, and the other, because it's too late for them ones. It's done. It's over. It is done. Those ratings have been decided. Now, fuck off. I'm joking. Don't fuck off. I've only got 121 people in here. We don't want to be going down that road, do we? Tony V-Man was in college. You're being too kind. I'm Pogba, says Tesso. Adam, you're funny when triggered, says Chris. Darmian is a right-footed fullback and he playing at left-back makes no sense, says Luke. Get told, says Lennon. I'm only joking. I love Abdullah. Proper good lad. Darmian 4, says Rajat. Rajat, too late. No more. We're moving on to Mkhitaryan. Henrik Mkhitaryan. That's who we're rating right now. Henrik Mkhitaryan. How did he do for you yesterday? For me, set up that opportunity for Paul Pogba. Fantastic opportunity it was as well. It was a shame that we didn't take that. And then, of course, had a relatively quiet game. There was an opportunity towards the end where he should have shot, crossed it. Martial tried to flick it in, didn't go in. So what are your thoughts on Mkhitaryan's performance? Can we get a rating for Mickey T? I'm open on this one. I don't think it was bad. I don't think it was as bad as Carrick, Darmian or Pogba. So I would tend to start off from a 6. I don't think it was amazing, so I wouldn't go anywhere near an 8. So between 6 and a 7, I'm thinking. What are you guys thinking at the moment on Mkhitaryan's performance? Does he deserve to get a higher rating than Herrera, who had a 7? Or does he deserve the same rating as Phil Jones, who was on a 6.5? What do you guys think about that? 6 missed a few chances. Bro says Said. Sol says 6. John says 7. Ben says 6. 6.5 should have converted the goal. I agree with that, Zidane. I was surprised that he crossed it. He should have took the chance. 6.5, 5.5, not his fault. 6 says Paul. Eric the King says 7. Zidane says 6.5. 8.5. He's not getting an 8.5. He wasn't better than Rojo. He wasn't better than Valencia. He can't get an 8 or an 8.5 in my opinion because of that. Was he as good as Jones? Yes, probably. Jones did make the mistake. Mkhitaryan though, man. That chance should have buried it. He's buried a similar... Now, it wasn't a similar opportunity, but he was in a similar position in front of goal where he smashed it in against Spurs. And you're thinking, go on, have a goal. But he crosses it and... that should have been... so many moments yesterday where it should have been a goal. 5.5, he was poor, says Crazed Monkey. 8.5, says Brad. He's not getting an 8.5. 7, says Jay. Now, we're looking at a 6.5 or a 7 for Mickey. Can we decide on that now? If you've said anything else than that, put that aside. 6.5 or a 7. I don't think he gets a 7. I don't think he was as good as Herrera. Was he? Was he? Mickey 6.5. Brian Edward 6.5. 6.5. 7 for Mickey, says Jay. Right, I'm going to have to give him 6.5. Siddhant Toop says Doctor Strange. There's more 6.5s coming in. So Mickey gets 6.5. Same rating as Jones. Lesser rating than Herrera. Abdullah says 6.5 as well. Lennon says 7. Sorry guys, I can't agree with that one. We're going to go on to Anthony Martial now. Just to recap, I'll give you the ratings so far. David De Gea 7, Valencia 8, Rojo 7.5, Jones 6.5, Darmian 5, Carrick 5, Pogba 4.5, Herrera 7, Mkhitaryan, Enric Mkhitaryan, he's got a 6.5. And now we're going on to Anthony Martial. I thought he absolutely roasted their fullback whenever he got on the ball, but we didn't give him the ball enough. Of course, he had that opportunity from Mkhitaryan when he should have shot, but he crossed it. Anthony Martial tried to do a backflip. Was that the best thing he could do at that moment in time? I'm not quite sure. Could he have gone for a side foot and stuck it in the goal? Again, I think that was probably the best option, but he didn't go for that. It didn't go in. 6.5 says Tommy didn't get enough of the ball. 4.5 for Martial, says Michael. Too quiet, says Paul. I would tend to give Martial the same as Mkhitaryan. 6.5. Christian agrees there. Raf agrees there. 6 for Martial, says Alberto. Martial 6 says Gungshi. Iman says 6.5. 6 for Martial. 6 for Martial, says Sol and Colby. Edge of Sanity says 6.5. I tend to agree with Tony Martial and a 6.5 because, again, I don't think he was as impressive as Herrera, but I think he did have some good signs to him, particularly in the first half, and he could have scored as well. Both wingers 6.5 says Howard Apollo. Brad says 6.5. So I think we're kind of all agreed on this one. I think there are a few others going either way as well, saying 6 and 7, but I think most of them coming through saying a 6.5 for Tony Martial. Now we're going on to Zlatan Ibrahimovic, of course, but I've got to recap. Valencia is on an 8, yeah? So we got Valencia on an 8, Rojo on a 7.5, DDG on a 7. Zlatan scored our goal, of course, he scored our goal. He had a few other opportunities which he didn't take. And how do you feel is all the other aspects of his game were? Does he rate as highly as Valencia on an 8? Does he rate as highly as Rojo on a 7.5? Or DDG on a 7? I think it's safe to say when you score a goal, you're not going to get a 6.5 or lower. Zach says solid 8. 8.5 scored the only chance he got, says Tom. Which would make him man of the match. So was Zlatan your man of the match with an 8.5? Zlatan 7 says Raf. Paul says 7. Luke McDermott says 8. 8.5 says Knuckle. No one denies Zlatan, says Doctor Strange. Ben says 8. 8.5 says Michael. Oliver says 8. Ryan says 7. Raf says 7. Pierre says 7. Paul Turner says 7. Gungshi 7. 6.5 scored a goal, however struggled against Clavan and Lovren. I don't think it's fair to rate him alongside Phil Jones, who made the mistake for their goal, well, leading up to their goal. So I think we're starting off with a 7 on that one. A lot of 8s and 8.5s though, which may make me take him up to a 7.5. But then you're saying he's performed alongside Rojo and behind Valencia. Was Valencia our man of the match with an 8? This is your chance to change this right now for the Adam McKola TV Aftermath Live First Man of the Match Award. Could it be Zlatan or could it be Valencia? Who is it going to be? Get your votes in the comments below. Did Zlatan get an 8 or an 8.5? Get it in right now, right now. Edward 7, 7.5 says Shibam. David says 7.5, 8.5 says Yuzian. Held the ball up but no options around him. 7.5 plus the goal, obviously. Says Abdullah wasn't great overall but he did score 7.5 for Zlatan. Valencia was my man of the match, says Ryan. So I think we could be seeing Zlatan dropping in at a 7.5. Jay Bad, who's been pretty good with the comments today and the match ratings, I think got, and Sol, he's been decent with them, and Raj. A lot of you guys are getting him there or thereabouts. So is Valencia the man of the match yesterday? Every time he touches the ball, it's quality, says Michael. Rojo, man of the match, says Sol. Pep, laughing emoji, says Leonard. Sure, that's a good one as well. We'll talk about that in a little bit later. Valencia, man of the match, says Leonard. Valencia, man of the match for me, says Benji. Everyone's saying Valencia was their man of the match. So I think we could see Zlatan drop it in with a 7.5 despite his goal. Zlatan Ibrahimovic gets a 7.5. You guys have been voting and you voted for Zlatan Ibrahimovic to get a 7.5. Alberto J Bad says 7.5, 8 for Tony V. Yuzwan says 8.5 for Zlatan. But I think it's fair to say you guys, the majority, do want Tony Valencia to be the man of the match. Rooney and Fellaini came on as substitutes. I don't think it's fair to really rate them. Fellaini did change the game for the better. I thought Rooney instilled some energy into us, but he wasn't great with the ball when he did have it, although he did change the game a little bit in our favour as well. Mata also came on, and I thought he's just himself, isn't he? And I think if Mata started yesterday, I know he wasn't in my starting 11, so it sounds a little bit hypocritical. Maybe the game could have been different because he is such a big game player. But we're just going to recap on those match ratings right now. David De Gea 7, Valencia 8, Rojo 7.5, Jones 6.5, Darmian 5, Carrick 5, Pogba 4.5, Herrera 7, Mickey 6.5, Zlatan 7.5, Marshall 6.5. So on the first Aftermath live show, Tony Valencia gets our man of the match with an 8.8 rating. Rojo and Zlatan close to him with a 7.5, and David De Gea on a 7, tailing him in below. But as you can see from the ratings, a lot of 6.5s, 5s and 4.5s. And that was the problem for Manchester United yesterday. We just didn't perform enough. We didn't perform as good as we have been doing recently. And because of that, we suffered. We suffered and we dropped more points. I think we're going to look back at it at the end of the season. Whilst, yes, you could say 1 point gain when you give the way the game's gone. But overall, it just wasn't good enough. And we should have been getting 3 points in that game, especially when you're given the starting lineups of both teams as well. So yeah, very, very disappointed with the game yesterday, but I have calmed down a little bit right now, and I feel calm. I feel like Manchester United can still get in the top 4. I think I was just really disappointed because we didn't take the opportunity to close the gap, and I felt if we won yesterday, we still could have been in with a chance of winning the league. But unfortunately, it would have been a slim chance, but unfortunately that's now gone. We need to focus on our next game. That's against Stoke. I'm looking forward to that game against Stoke. I'll have a live match preview with the United Road podcast boys on Thursday night, so make sure you join us then. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. Thank you guys for joining us.